In our studios, we've got Lincoln Bain, and we are expecting some others. You never know. Because today, what happened in the House of Assembly has been wonderful, wonderful for the people of the Bahamas because they say changing here, change is now here. Change ain't coming no more. Change is here. And of course, today it is Wednesday, April the 2nd, 2025. Fair skies, sunshine today, high today of 85 degrees. Fair weather this evening. In the forecast tonight, it's going to be 75 degrees out there. This is Hard Copy Live on the McKinney Broadcasting Radio Network, and all rights are reserved. Hard Copy, seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country. Our desire is for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant, visionary action plan that's ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians just like you to participate with intelligence and honest contributions. After all, my friends, we have a country to build. We've got jobs and industry to create, a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians. We, the people, must protect and plan for. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Today on Hard Copy Live, the COI starring in the Honorable House of Assembly today. They now have a man in the Parliament. Iram Lewis has quit the Free National Movement's official opposition party and has joined forces with the COI. This happened today in the House of Assembly, leaving the FNMs in a state of shock, believe it or not. It was one of those stop the press moments in the House of Assembly today when Lewis made the move. He was joined by thousands of COI members who gathered in the Parliament Square to celebrate the historic move with their leader, Lincoln Bain. And of course, that is what has set the tone for today's show. So very quickly, we were playing excerpts from the actual events that happened today. But there's nothing like when we can sit and talk with the leader of the Coalition of Independence, Mr. Lincoln Bain, who's in the studios right now, as we share the moments and the historical moments that happened. I know you have some questions. I know you, the people, have some questions. And today we're going to answer those questions for you as to how come this happened? When this happened? How come this thing was kept a big secret until it happened? And the fact is, now that it has happened, and you are saying that you've got a man in the Parliament, COI is saying that. What does it mean as far as him being still a member or still being a former member of the FNM? How does this whole thing work out now? What does this mean for the people in the COI? And how come this thing has actually happened? First, we're going to explore the whole avenue because you've got some things you've got to know. And the news is very good. The man has crossed the floor. That's what happened. He's crossed the floor. And when he crossed the floor, he took off the bandages, the wounds of the Free National Movement. And he took up the hat, the campaign, and all the tools that he needs to have going forward in his push for better government in this country. That's what he has done. Now, this is why we have to sit with you today and let you understand the whole 9 yards. Because if anything is true, Lincoln Bain can keep a secret. I tell you so. Because most people did not know anything. Then it happened. By the way, Michael Pintard was said not to have been in the House of Assembly when this thing happened today. It was said that he was still perhaps in Freeport or whatever he was, but he wasn't presently in the House of Assembly when it actually happened, when Iram Lewis took the stand and decided that he was going to make the announcement. And then all hell broke loose, because when he made that announcement and went into the parliament, he was greeted by all kinds of people from all walks of life. They were down there celebrating this historic move that he made, and they were able to enunciate the fact that now the COI has a member of parliament in the parliament, and they can now push many things through because of Iram Lewis. Now that he's there, a lot of things will take shape, and a lot of things are beginning to now unravel and unfold itself. And you can now see a different picture in the political climate in the country right now, just because of that one move. Other people are now saying things like, well, maybe some other people will move too. In fact, Lincoln Bain was quoted as saying today, when Pintard comes to Parliament and looks left and looks right, he may in fact see others moving in this direction toward the COI. That's what was said. And of course, something else. Pintard and his FNM people looked very, very concerned today. Sometimes they didn't show it right away, but then, of course, the time went on and the moment crept in on them and they realized the reality of what had just happened. They became very, very worrisome about what's really happening within their party structure themselves. So we're going to talk about that today. You better believe it. 376-9234, the numbers you can call me by today. But we've got everybody tuning in around the world today listening to what's happening on the Facebook. And not only that, MIXLR. And not only that, on the cable channel, 970. You're tuned in with me, Steve McKinney, and we're live on Hard Carpet today. We've got Lincoln Bain with us today. We've got lots of things to talk about. As somebody likes to say, we've got a lot of things to talk about today. So here he is. It's Lincoln Bain, the man who is in charge of the Coalition of Independence. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, my brother. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. And I'm saying that here we are, another day, and just like that, the moment came and nobody even had an idea what was going to happen. And then we heard this announcement that the man is going to make a move and join the COI in the Honorable House of Assembly today. This must have been an ecstatic move and something very, very warm and welcoming for yourself, the COI party, and for thousands of others who came down to Parliament Square, and they were able to celebrate this move by Iram Lewis. Your thoughts?
It's it's not history in the making; it's history.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time that someone moved from a party and crossed the floor and went to a third party. It's the first
That's
time
right.
that has happened in history.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them would move and declare that they're going to be independent,
Mm-hmm.
and then later join
Very true.
Another party.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the two persons, Rollins and Wells, who went from the PLP to the FNM,
Mm-hmm.
but no one has ever gone to a third party before. This shows you that the momentum is shifting. And this is something that we thought about, we prayed about, and we did our due diligence. We actually went into the community. People were saying, why are you in Freeport so much? Well, while I was in Freeport, we went into the central constituency and we spoke to people. We were on the ground in Central.
Mm-hmm.
And the tides has shifted in that community. It is the constituency in Grand Bahama where we got the most votes last time.
Is that right?
So we already had a lot of support there.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went there, we saw that a lot of stalwart PLPs and FNMs were saying that they're with us. Just send them their man. That's all they're waiting on, and that's all we were hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And we was like, something is coming soon. We couldn't tell them anything. And people were like, they're not voting PLP or FNM.
Yes.
But whoever we send,
whoever
we send, they're gonna vote for. And And so, Iram also expressed that, he would go in community and some people would say, man, why you don't join the COI? And
Wow.
it was phenomenal to see the shift on the ground, and the politicians, they're trying to cover it as if it's not happening and pretend it's not going on. But we did our due diligence, and so we decided this is the right move. We put it before our people, um, without letting them know what was happening. We just asked general questions. What if
Mhm.
this happened? What if that happened? And they were accepting of it. um, we didn't want to make a mistake like when Brian joined with Loretta and went into the Senate and the House. We
Understood.
wanted to know what our people felt about it,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Democracy.
our people felt that the man stood with us when we had protests. He stood his ground, even though his party said don't come out to that protest when they should have been there fighting with the Bahamian people. Pintard and his parties told their MPs and Iram, don't go to to support us while we were fighting for Bahamians at our protests. But Iram, despite his party telling him that, still came and stood with the people, and you have to respect that. And so a lot of our people feel like give him his respect. And so we've been having conversations for some time now, and our conversations have always been about the betterment of the country, never about bad mouthing the FNM or anything that's going on in the
Understood.
FNM, etc.
Mhm.
It has always been about bettering the country. And you can respect that because even in your private conversations, it's about the country, it's about the nation, it's about the people.
Absolutely.
And so we decided to go with it. He's been a part of a party, and we know the culture in the Bahamas. Every election they come and bring you these new and talented and qualified people. They say, oh, this one is so qualified, that one is so qualified. Then when they get in, you wonder where all their qualifications go on. What happens is the party shuts them down and they can only do what the party tells them they can do. And other than that, you will shut up or we will abuse you, we will destroy you. And that's the party culture in this country. And so the FNM in May, they plan on bringing out some candidates, a couple of candidates. Um, and they're going to tell you, oh, these are new people, et cetera, et cetera. Those people are not going to be able to do anything for you. They're only going to do what the FNM tells them. And that is what makes money for the financial backers and cronies of the FNM. That's all the candidates they bring to
And
you are going
people
to
are
do.
very much tired of these kinds of things. It's been
Yes.
happening in both parties with the PLP
Yes.
and the Free National Movement. And as a result of it, people have grown so tired of them now that anything that we say these days are usually suspect by
Yes.
Bahamian people. They are like looking at it and say, well, is that really so? Can we believe this? They don't really have a feeling of believing what has been said anymore in the politics.
Exactly.
That's what's happening.
And so back to your first question about the impact of this whole thing. One, the COI is now a part of government. We are legit.
Mhm.
We're now a part of government. The government is not just the governing party. That's the executive. The government is both the governing party and the opposition and all members of parliament.
Okay.
They are all the government, all
Mhm.
right, and the Senate and the judiciary. But we are now a part of the government. And so that is groundbreaking, and that is history that was made on April 2nd, 2025. The revolution has begun. And so what's also important is that Iram Lewis is a part of the Public Accounts Committee.
Okay.
And so
Yes. Yes.
now we
Mhm.
are a part of the Public Accounts Committee. And so,
You've been trying to get Pintard to really meet on this thing and get some
yes,
things done. You said that recently in the House of Assembly just recently.
not just meet, but to
Mhm.
do substantial things. Because we've been holding his foot to the fire, he's been trying to organize some meetings to make himself look good.
So he met with Simon Lucy.
Yes, on April Fool's
Mhm.
Day, he tried to fool us by saying they met with Simon Wilson, which they did, and asked him some questions. They just asked him some questions to say they did it, and it's all a show. There's nothing real about it. We don't need you asking him questions. We need you subpoenaing documents. What questions did you ask him? What did you ask him about what's going on in this country, about the $58 million, about these contracts? What did you ask him? And did you subpoena their emails? Did you subpoena their phone records? Did you subpoena their bank accounts? to see what is going on and where it's going. We don't need pretend action. We don't need a play actor. We need real change in this country because we're suffering because of it. Because when you can spend $58 million on travel, but can't buy ambulances and fire trucks and can't keep the water on, come on, man.
And $183 million on the road works down in West Grand Bahama. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of money.
That's a shame. That's robbery. That's a heist. That's a crime of the century. And Pintar does not have the strength or leadership to deal with this. But we'll be there to help him. Whether he likes it or not. We are in the house.
So you're in.
We are in the house. And every week, you're going to hear from us. It's time for change.
My goodness. So let me ask you this now. You kind of explained the part about the fact that you're part of the legislative council now, you're part of the party, the opposition forces and all that kind of stuff because of Iram Lewis now being there, and you're going to be able to speak through him a number of things that gives the COI a place in that House of Assembly to get that information out there in a place like the House of Assembly where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm saying, when you do all that kind of thing now, what's going to become of the COI and their thrust to this doesn't mean that you all are not going to be able to say, well, we're going to just continue to go with this. But I'm not only asking this for a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only asking this question because, I know better than that. But I'm just saying, some people may be believing that, well, the COI will back down now because they have their mind in the House Assembly, that kind of thing, and you're not going to go for the whole gumption. And the thing is, you're going to win this particular election this time around. That's how you see it. That's how you are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we feel that we're going to win this election, and we're not playing to play. We're playing to win.
Understood.
We are very heavily invested in all of this, Steve. You can see that we are spending money, we are spending our time, and we are doing things that you've never seen a so-called third party do. You saw what happened on March 1st at our vision. Mm-hmm. We started this with vision. We came to you on March 1st and didn't have anything negative to say about the other parties.
No, you didn't.
We didn't slander them. We didn't talk about them. We don't ever talk about personal business. We don't care about that. We care about the public record. But even then, we ignored that. And we gave you the vision for a new Bahamas, something that they never do. And so we started there. We're doing this because we actually want to change this country. And that impressed a lot of people. And it also impressed Mr. Iram Lewis, who feels that that is the direction. Steve, something he said today in an interview was very powerful. And some people didn't hear when he said it. But basically, he's saying the person at the wheel is not the person who is running things. Not the person in control. Not the person calling the shots. That's what he said.
You mean to tell me somebody else is calling the shots, not Michael
So,
Pintard?
in other words, Pintard is a puppet. And as a member of that party, he can see that. And he said it to the media today. But it went over some of their heads. This is something that I've been saying for quite some time. If Pintard gets in, he's not going to be running this country. Brent Simnett is going to be running this country. The man who endorsed him. Fred Smith is going to be running this country. And you know what Fred Smith is. Someone who wants the illegal immigrants to just have their way in this country. Who went international and spread lies on this country.
Yeah, so they're keeping their head, those two gentlemen are keeping their head low.
Yes,
Smith.
Because they know we're on to them.
Yeah.
And so they're keeping their head low because they want to just put their man in there, their puppet in there to have the pen. And so if their puppet has the pen, they have the pen. And it's very dangerous. And we have to be real about this because this is the only country we got, man. And we're losing this. This isn't about attacking Pintard. This isn't about politics, PLP, FNM, or COI. This is about the failure is clear before our eyes. What are we going to do about it, man?
Yeah. When you look at, let me just take this call. Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
I see a lot of things happening. Listen to me, take note. Remember when the U.S. said they're concerned about Chinese presence in the Bahamas? One statement. Another thing they said, keep China at bay. Another thing. This last meeting, it didn't invite the Bahamas. Let me tell you something. The Bahamas is going to make history internationally. And what we're looking at now, this is going to be a 360-degree turn. It ain't going to be nothing to do with PMLB, Maria Jackson, A.K. Blondie, Ronnie McIver. Let me tell you this, and I want you to put this in your pipe and smoke it. 27, 29, or the whole damn pot going. Mark my word.
I got you, ma'am. Thank you very kindly. So, she's right about a number of things she said, but I'm not talking about that right now today. We can talk about that later on in the show today. But the statements that were made by Fred Mitchell earlier this morning on the newscast, it was talking about the fact that they are preparing for hard times to come. It's going to be worse than the coronavirus, is what he said. Because of the sanctions that have been taken now by the Americans across the world. And the sanctions started today, you see? And so all of those things got them very, very worried. I wanted to ask you, though, on this whole matter, about what happened in the House of Assembly today, because when Iram Lewis walked across the floor and said he's now with the COI, put on a COI hat, came out and put on a CIO hat in the front of the whole crowd, I wonder what the reaction of even not only the FNM, but also the PLPs, because this thing has a domino effect that's seemingly happening right now in the parliament. I wonder how they would have reacted and how were they smiling? Were they happy? What was the situation like? Because people need to know that.
Yeah. So to what the lady said earlier about what's going on with the tariffs, I mean, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time this has happened. Richard Nixon did the same thing earlier, and he did it with a view to reducing the American dollar, and that was to hurt everyone who was holding on to U.S. dollar bonds, and that eventually crushed Japan and all of their other competitors because they had the dollar, and when it devalued, U.S. can still print it, so they can get as much of it as they want, but it was devalued for the persons holding on to it. Trump has a strategy, and it's a strategy that can work in the long run. All right. So we can talk about that later. People normally don't ask me about foreign policy. I have a lot of experience in that area also as a trader and doing business in many countries. And so we can talk about that later. But you asked about the reaction. The reaction was interesting. Normally when someone crosses the floor, the other side would applaud and they would beat on the tables and they would be happy and they would jeer at the other side. But this time, the PLP looked as concerned as the FNM.
Is that right? They look more concerned.
Yes, I have a picture of them. I actually took a picture of them. When I saw the look on their faces, there was look of, oh my God. They weren't celebratory when it happened. And it was something to see. Now? I think that they're concerned. The FNM, I understand their concern, are those persons who were there. But when I saw the reaction of the PLP, it's like they weren't excited that this happened to the FNM. They were terrified.
Maybe
and so that leaves, that leaves the Bahamian public to wonder, what's really going on. And normally a governing party doesn't have a problem with third parties because third parties keep governing parties in.
Yeah.
The Ralph Nader and the Green Party caused George Bush to win twice, even though he wasn't popular. So third parties helped the government.
Yes.
The same thing with Obama. Obama won twice, even though he was unpopular for his second term because of the Tea Party. Remember the Tea Party? And so governments always love the fact that third parties come out.
Yeah.
But this time, they seem to be afraid, as if they feel like, boy, maybe this third party can win. Maybe they can beat the both of us. That's how terrified they seem. And you can tell because they have already sent their trolls out, their paid trolls. You watch the paid trolls. The patrols of the PLP are not going after the FNM. They're not saying a word about the FNM. They're not focusing on them after this move. They're not throwing jazz at Pintard. They're not doing any of that stuff like would normally happen in others of course of law. They are just going after the COI. And that's the patrols of the PLP. Imagine that.
Wow.
So that should tell you that their concern is that even though they're saying, "Oh, y'all can't win, y'all never win," it's only two parties.
Bunch of idiots.
If it's
it's
foolishness.
Kind of stuff.
If that's what you really think, then why are you focusing on us and not your enemy who you believe can win? If you believe the FNM can win, why are you focusing on the COI and not the FNM? Go look at everything.
Fred Mitchell made that very clear this morning because he spoke of you, he spoke of you in his news piece this morning that I played on the radio.
Yeah, and we gave him a good gift to show him that we're now in the house. We're not interested in name calling. When people start calling names, it's because they don't have an intellectual argument. And so they'll start calling you names. If you're having a debate with someone and you're winning, they're going to say, "Yeah, but you're stupid. Yeah, you're an idiot." And they're going to start calling you names. That's because they don't have an argument. They have nothing to stand on. And so we welcome the fact that they're doing that while we are putting out vision and giving intellectual rebuttals to what they're saying. We need the country to move in the right direction. We don't need a chairman who's traveling the world, spending our money, and then when you question him, you're an idiot. Because they are acting like idiots. An idiot is when you make $3 billion a year and can't build a hospital. An idiot is when you spend $300,000 on a car and can't buy fire trucks, even though you have fires every year. An idiot is when you can't buy ambulances for your country. And when you do borrow $1.4 million to buy ambulances, you buy stick shift ambulances that no one can fit in. That's an idiot. An idiot is going to spend $183 million to pave a little road in West End. That's an idiot. An idiot can't keep the water on. An idiot can't keep the electricity on. An idiot pays for fossil fuels to keep to burn for electricity, but won't use solar in a country that has all the sun in the world. That's an idiot. To spend $58 million on travel.
Seriously.
And you can't pay the police reservists? I'm a former police. That hurts me. That I hear these reservists are working, doing the same job as police officers and can't get paid? And you're going to let people see you traveling and balling? You're an idiot.
Well, they're an idiot or they don't care.
You can't pay the people at the parliamentary registrar, the people who run the elections. You gotta be an idiot to not pay those people.
So this is the real situation that Mitchell should consider, because if he don't want to be called an idiot, he should be able to do all these things. He and Brave David should be.
We are presenting vision, solutions, etc. They are showing us that they are idiots. An idiot is going to pay $25 million a year for a building that they could have built for a couple $1 million. That's an idiot.
Wasting money.
An idiot rents when they have the money to buy. That's an idiot. They have been running this country like idiots, but what idiots do is they project onto you. They call you a name because they know it's really them. And so we don't have time to focus on idiots like Fred Mitchell and others and the trolls that he pays to go out there and run on with nonsense, to vilify people who are trying to save this country, to talk about, oh, Lincoln being some woman. Nonsense. Y'all owe us. Y'all owe nurses. Y'all owe teachers. Y'all owe police officers. Police officers have not gotten their gratuity, but you could spend $58 million traveling. You are destroying this nation bit by bit, piece by piece. They are idiots. And we're calling on all right-thinking men of this generation and women, because the COI has many women. We're going to break the glass ceiling on that also. We're calling on you to step away from the PLP and FNM. The old lions are costing the pride. They're dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do this anymore.
And people know this, you know.
Yeah. It's time for a new generation. Anytime change happens, the new generation has to take over and do it. Pinland was 36 when he won. Iram was in his early 40s when he won. Obama was in his early 40s. We need change, man. Brave is in his 70s. He's going to be probably 75 or 76 by the time of the next general election. Yeah. Pintard is going to be probably about 63 by the time it's the next general election. He's past his prime. And we're seeing that. We need a new generation. I'm going to still be in my 40s at the next general election. We need a new generation to lead this country. That don't mean you don't have elderly persons, because they have something to contribute. But I'm talking about the vision and the leadership of it. Because we have persons of all ages running for the COI. But it's time for something new and something different. And so it's time for the young lions to take this baton out of their hands, Steve.
Yes.
We can't wait for them to die with the baton. We have to take this, snatch it out of their hand, and take this country to the New Bahamas. We can't have anyone leading this country right now who was born in England. I was born in the Bahamas. I was born free. I wasn't born in England. I was born after Independence Day. We can't have anyone running this country who grew up counting shillings and pounds. That's not to disrespect anyone of the elder generations, you know.
Understood.
That is to say, we need people running this now who understands today, who understands technology and everything else. This is a different world than they grew up in.
No question about it.
And we're getting left behind.
We must not get left behind, and the people don't want us to get left behind. You have many, many Bahamians who believe that we are where we're supposed to be right now, and they are really wanting to see this change. And that is what people have been talking about for the most part. And where I sit on radio talk shows, I hear this all the time. People they can't wait to see this change happen. And I'm not saying that they exaggerate things. I'm telling you what's actually happening out there in the public.
Yeah.
That's in Grand Bahama. That's in Abaco. That's in the place called Long Island. People are waiting to see some change happen in this country. And I don't know if the powers that be, namely the government, the Progressive Liberal Party government, understands exactly what is being said, or they're just simply ignoring what is being said, because they know too that people want change.
Yeah.
They can see that.
Yeah.
They can feel it.
Well,
and that's why actually about the reaction to the House of Assembly, how they would have looked at this whole matter with Iram
they
Lewis.
look terrified. Terrified. And I'll say this, it's time for the young lions to take over. And both myself and Iram are younger than Pintard. Both of us. It's time for the young lions to take over.
All right, Copy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Awesome. Man, listen. This recent move by Iram Lewis has taken the country by storm. If the Free National Movement and PLP members were starting on their feet, they might have passed over. You hear what I say?
I hear you.
That was unexpected.
It was to me.
When they get hit today, this morning, when Iram Lewis was across the floor. And Mr. Bean is correct. The trolls are now trying to attack and trying to come up with now they want a law passed to stop persons from crossing. Or doing yes of
That's what they're saying now.
Yeah.
There got to be a law against that. That's what they're saying now. Right?
Yeah, there got to be law. This is going to be allowed. If someone was to ever needed to have by election,
They can't stop free movement of people, man. The people can do what they have to do.
but it goes to show that it has hit them national movement now is trying to tarnish Iram Lewis with a recent press release about his behavior. See, what has happened today is going down in history. This is historic. This is on the level of when the bases thrown out the window. You might want to believe that. Never in history has a third party received a minister or a member of parliament from a major political party. That has never happened.
Yes.
And this is a good step. This is a very, very good sign. I want this to be known that the people are now watching closely. And right now, take my word, the PLP and FNM are grasping this cross because they do not know what to expect. Now, this cross the floor has now shifted their confidence for what the next is.
You think so?
It did, trust me. They have it in their mind that they are safe, that all the people is looking left or right. But this recent shift,
Yeah, I can see that now.
Listen, this recent shift, it's something called a domino effect. Mr. Mayor make me laugh today when he say, let's hear it up, let's hear it right.
Yes.
Who's next? All right?
That's a serious
so I want
thing.
To say this to Mr. Yes, I want to say this to Mr. Lewis. Hold your head up high, Mr. Hold your head up high, bro. Straighten your back out. Put your shoulders up and speak for the people in Parliament. You don't have no muzzle now. You don't have no muzzle. You don't have no party. You don't keep you silent. Speak for the people, represent the people, and may God be with you always. Have a good day, Steve.
Thank you very kindly for your call.
Amen.
And listen, you can call me, friends, if you want to, 376-9234, because today has been a historic day so far in the Bahamas. And of course, this whole thing happened in the Parliament when Iram Lewis decided to go across the floor and join forces with the COI, a party that is yet to get into the House of Assembly because they have not really won the election yet. But people are counting down the days. They're counting down the days, believe it or not. They're saying that they expect that Lincoln Bean and his COI team will be there because they see what's happening now. They see the vision, the plan that they have for the country. They've been reading the plan that they have for the country. And so as a result of that, people may now decide that they want to shift away and move away from this whole thing about the ideology of the PLP, the ideology of the FNM, and decide that they want to take a new chance, a new day, to make sure some things happen for them and their children. On top of all this thing that's happening here today, you have this whole crisis with the immigration people in this town at this particular time, and you cannot ignore that fact. The PLP has ignored that fact. The FNM has ignored that fact. And here it is, we, the Bahamian people, need to know what's going to happen coming toward the general elections, because they still are having people register every single day. You see the depots every day in the newspapers. They're running things as normal. They could care less. But the people are worried because they're saying that these fellas want to come and take the country over.
Yeah.
So that's a big elephant in the room, and nobody wants to tackle it. Of course, Lincoln Bain has been attacking it. He's been talking about it verbatim all the time. It's part of his campaign. For the most part, he's been talking about it. Nobody else has been talking about it. Michael Pintat has not spoken to it. They've not spoken to it yet. The PLP, say where you put me. They are not going to talk about it because it is something very, very crucial for the people of the Bahamas. They cannot afford to lose this country, and that is what is at stake here in the Bahamas today. That's the whole thing that's at stake. To lose a country because of some outsiders coming in. They got these fraudulent papers to vote, and they are going to do just that. What do you say along those lines when you add all these things together, Lincoln Day? The fact that Iram Lewis is now here with the COI, the fact that so many other people are not trying to get into the COI and make a way to make a difference for the actual country. How do you see all these things coming together? And do you see yourself sitting on the top of the whole class when the elections roll around next year?
Yeah, I think that God is in control of all of this. I know and believe that God is in control of all of this.
Mhm.
And we've seen many miracles along the way. And we believe that. We believe that God wants to see something different in this country. I believe that the cries of the Bahamian people has reached his ears. And that he wants a few good men and women to be the vessels to bring the change his country needs. Right now in our country, politics politicians only do what they can make money from. And that's the problem. And so that's why nothing gets done. We need a change. We need a situation where Bahamians are put first, finally.
Mhm.
Where we are looking every day at how you can improve this nation, man, not
Yes.
just give contracts to croonies.
Yes.
Improve this nation. We should be doing big things, man. I showed some people the highways, the freeways with overpasses that they built in Jamaica, man, that they built in Haiti. They're doing projects while we talking about beginning to pave and road in West End. Not
That's
saying
But on that point, that's a hell of a lot of money. I mean,
183 million. They did a 3-mile overpass, highway, freeway in Jamaica for $54 million. They built a freeway in Haiti for 13 million and another freeway in Port-au-Prince for 17 million.
don't Mr. Davis and company look at these things, make comparisons, and look at the best practices as to how these things are done, and then
They are stealing money from the treasury by using contracts. And so if the contract is really worth $1 million, they'll say, okay, put that $2 million, no bid, no one else gets a chance. You, that $1 million for us, another $1 million for you. All right, but $1 million go to us. And that's what is happening. They are putting up contracts. They've done it before. We've seen them say, okay, we're going to build a prison. It's going to cost this amount, 40 million, which is ridiculous. And then it shoots up to 90 million. They're like, we're going to build it for 90 million now. What? After all had a conversation, it jumped to 90 million? Because some people got to get their
this is
money.
under the Hewitt Ingham administration.
No. That's under this administration. They're talking about building a prison.
Oh, the
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah, the prison.
I was thinking Sandals.
Yeah. And so the road in Eleuthera, don't forget that went from 60 million to 100 million. Now we're talking about road in West End, that one strip for $180 million.
Even the roads in Cat Island,
Yes.
that was 138 million.
The airport in Cat Island, that's a building that is 100 by 100. All right, that ain't no big building. That's a regular building. All right, that building is costing 18 million. I saw the contract for the foundation. That was $50,000 for the foundation. How do you get from 50,000 to 18 million? How do you do that?
Magic.
In what world?
Mm.
18 million. So they're finding every way to rape and rob, and then the Bahamian people have two options, and they're willing to weigh their options. One, they're gonna make all their money that they can, and then swing you back to the FNM so that they can spend the next 5 years enjoying their money and building their houses and doing whatever they want to do, and then they'll wait till they swing back to them to make more money again. Because they know you don't have a choice. If you're mad with them, they want you to go and just vote for the FNM. But it's still staying between the two of them. We got to be smarter than that.
I think so. And that's perhaps one of the reasons why people like Pintard and those are not pushing as much as they can on these matters that are very, very significant interest to the Bahamian people. Why not?
So another reason I believe Pintar isn't pushing, but I'll wait till you answer the calls.
Hard copy, how are you?
Good afternoon, Chief. Good afternoon, Bahamas. Good afternoon, COI Nation and the Bahamian people.
Yes.
Today, that was a big move today, Steve, in the House of Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big move. A Bahamian son had made up his mind to say, you know what, this here working out. My Bahamian brothers and sisters are out here hurting.
Good afternoon.
Steve. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And to the hard copy nation out there.
Mhm.
Now, when I think about all the wastage and the monies that the Bahamas government, both administrations have been spending, it's shameful that we're renting so much buildings that we don't even have government complexes where our government agencies should really help and benefit the Bahamian people. When you're going to have the deputy prime minister of the country, Chester Cooper, is renting a space in the Hilton Hotel. The deputy prime minister office is in there, the Hilton Hotel, or have it moved? In the Hilton Hotel, because why? They're spending the Bahamian people's money. They don't care. The BNP and FNM, they don't care. And that's what that does. Does he say anything against that? No. Coward. The Bahamian people see Michael Pintal as a coward to the point that man would not even go into shanty town and find out what's going on, why all of these people in our country. And whereas Lincoln Bean would go into a shanty town and assist and see how he could help those Asian nationals who've come in the country illegally and those who are coming in the country legal, and to make the situations better for these people. Because the thing is, these people have come into our country looking for a better way of life. And what has happened is that other administrations allow these men to take women and children in the bushes to live. Women and children. Mr. Bain, do you agree with that? That women and children should be in the bushes living in the Bahamas?
That will not happen in the New Bahamas. Everyone will live in a proper home in the New Bahamas.
I always have people say, oh, Lincoln Bean don't like Haitians. But have you ever went to Haiti after the earthquake?
Yes, Yes, I went to Haiti and volunteered and helped to build back Haiti. I got corns in my hand, trying to help them to build back Haiti. I volunteered. I spent my own money and took supplies for them, and we got a plane and went over there, and we tried to help those people because it was the right thing to do. I don't hate anybody. I love all people. I just want you to come the right way. It's simple as that. All right, Steve, if someone comes into your studio right now, I don't want them to jump to the window. Just the door right there. Come through the door. I'm not hating them because I say, man, if you're coming in Steve House, come to the door, man. That's not hate. We don't hate anybody, but come the right way.
And Mr. Bain, is it true that your sister is married to of Asian descent?
Yes. That is true.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, come the right way and I have no problem with you.
Yeah, because when you have people around, Lincoln Bean hate Haitians, Lincoln Bean children's women, and stuff like that. But today, I don't want to know all shadow over what happened today, though. Because I would have been having that house today. Awesome move. Because Iram Lewis trusts Lincoln Bean and he trusts the vision forward in the Bahamas where all Bahamians are empowered. So, Mr. Bain, I thank you for standing up for the Bahamian people. And Steve, this is an awesome show. An awesome show. I wonder how the news media is going to try to flip this story tonight. All right, you guys, enjoy the show. Good night, Bahamas.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for taking my class, Steve.
Yes, okay, no problem. You wonder how they're going to flip the story. Let me tell you, boy, if you already know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and anybody who had something would look like a camera, who was out there in Parliament Square today, interviewing Lincoln and interviewing Iram Lewis. Everybody was down there today. So you wonder how this story could go? Well, they got their story. When you watch the news tonight, you'll see they got their story. They have Lincoln Bean, I suppose, could be on somebody later this evening on another show, and Jerome will be on with Harm, I suppose, on another show.
Yeah,
they all making
Tonight.
the rounds. But see, hard copy is here, and we go live every day. And the point is, we are talking to the man himself right now. We're live, and people are enjoying the show because they didn't even know this was going to happen because no one said anything about it. It just happened today. And I told you all, I hinted to you, I told you all, if you see the things that's going to happen from here on in, I said this early in the week. I said, my friend, the things that's coming down the pike right now, you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be shocked. This is one of the things, See, you got to understand some things. When you know this thing called politics, you can expect all things to happen at any time. Follow? I can tell you something else that's coming down the pipe. You see this whole thing with the Americans and then taking the sanctions. Stand by. The Haitians may be stopped. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And they may be stopped in such a way that the Bahamas will be okay.
Yes.
Listen to me. We just know some things. We don't talk everything. You can't talk everything. You say something here. You say something. You don't say some things.
Yeah.
But when it happens, you will understand what we are talking about. This is hard copy. I'm going to run and take a break and pay some bills and all that kind of stuff. And in a minute,
Okay, everybody, we are on commercial break. We'll be back in short order as soon as the commercials are finished. All right, so just hang in there.
Attention homeowners. Do you have enough coverage for your home and possessions? Well, if you're not sure,
We're gonna be
maybe
on
it's time
mute
to
while
check
it's on
Advantage
commercial break.
Insurance.
knowledgeable on just about everything he does. Most of the information that he brings on is things that Amos need to know, and I find that very educational too.
When Steve talks, everybody listen. The government does move quick. They bring that you got this. They want hard coffee, hard coffee, hard coffee with Steve Mckinney. Steve needs business. You know that for sure. On Mondays through Fridays, Steve will give you the score on hard coffee, hard coffee, hard coffee with Steve Mckinney. Da 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 da.
And we're back. 6:14 it is in the country right now. Lincoln Bean is on with me today on Hard Copy Live, and that's because of the fact that today Iram Lewis crossed the floor, joined up with the COI, and they now have a man in Parliament. What do you think of that? 376-9234, 376-9234. Give me a call. Let me know, because this seems to be good news and it's echoing throughout the entire Bahamas. People in Grand Bahama, they've been calling. People over in Eleuthera, they've been calling. People in Exuma, they've been calling. People are saying that, my goodness, this is fantastic, what has actually happened today. People see this as a historic thing as well, because of the fact that what's happening right now is that people are looking forward to a number of things that will take place in our beautiful Bahamas. And it's about time now. People are saying, look, we need change, and change is now here, because who would have thought that Lincoln Bain and them would have been entering the House of Assembly by way of Iram Lewis at this particular time, and elections ain't even come yet? Does that mean that something is on the walls being written as we speak? Is the good master hearing the people's cry? All of these things you've got to consider now. Somebody is looking out for the COI party, and that's because we perhaps need change. I'm getting reports now that the people over at the Progressive Liberal Party and also in the Free National Movement got a very, very worried look on their faces. And that's echoing throughout the entire party system of those two major parties. Third party has gotten someone to cross the floor and join forces the same time, the same day, outside the precincts of the House of Assembly. That's unheard of. Yet it has actually happened today. And many Bahamians witnessed that too. And so we're talking with Lincoln Bain today about the whole turn of events. And I know that you wanted to make some points about several things that you were talking about. One of those things were the actual fact that the PLPs and everybody has that very worried look on their face right now. And I know that's no big concern for the COI, because you're all in the driver's seat right now, so to speak, the actual driver's seat. You got your plan, you got your visionary plan that you've been promoting for the last few months. People have been reading that, they're catching on to it, they like what they see. And you've got a plan of action to take us into a new direction. But the others don't have a party plan yet. They don't have anything with a manifesto or even a covenant that they normally have. They don't have anything at this particular time. It's only a couple of months away from a general election. What's happening with that?
Well, not only do they not have a plan, they don't even have their candidates. We don't know who their candidates are.
Very true.
The COI began releasing candidates from last year, September 16th, on the anniversary of the election. And we've put a plan out there that the people have gravitated to, and they're ready for something different. But I want to take a second to show this administration exactly how powerful and connected the COI is. Right now, as we speak, they're having a secret cabinet meeting
as we speak
at the Goldwyn Hotel. Right now, y'all are at the Goldwyn Hotel having a secret cabinet meeting. About who? About us.
Where the hotel is? Where's that?
The Goldwyn is opposite the Prime Minister's office.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. That's the little small hotel there.
I see.
They're having a meeting right now.
As we speak.
As we speak. They're terrified. You could have seen the terrified look on their faces. You could have seen it. You could see the look of concern. Why?
What if this thing is a domino effect?
Like I said,
Mhm.
the ink hadn't dried yet on Iram's resignation, and they already sent the paid trolls out to start attacking the COI. The PLP didn't. Think about that. They didn't start attacking the FNM, though. They didn't jeer at the Pintard, and they did none of that. That normally happens. They went straight after the COI. Paid trolls don't speak until they're told which angle to take.
Yes, absolutely.
All right? They don't touch anything unless they're instructed, because they won't make their money. So obviously they were instructed to go after the COI. Why are you afraid of the COI?
That's
But I
the
put it to you that it's not just the COI that they're afraid of, Steve.
Mm.
They are more afraid of the Bahamian people being empowered.
Okay.
Because if the Bahamian people wake up and see what's really going on, and if the Bahamian people are empowered to where they don't need them, the game is over. Their control and their enslavement of the Bahamian people will be over.
Hmm.
They have us in bondage in our minds, the Bahamian people. And I am calling on the government right now to let my people go. This is your warning. Let my people go. Empower our people. The young lions are coming to take this country back. And that's lions and lionesses.
How do you feel about all the things that Dr. Miles Monroe forecasted and said about these people you will see? You haven't seen them before, and people thought that he was just talking about what happened in that election previously. But now he's talking about a situation that people replay that and they hear what he's saying. You're going to see leaders you've never seen before, people who are doing things that you've never seen before. This could be a new Bahamas. Those are the things that he was saying. When you put that in context, I know that you were part of the Miles Monroe movement to the Bahamas Faith Ministries and all that. I'm just wondering if you see this whole thing coming together now, like this has been already spoken, prophesied long time ago, and here it is, you seeing yourself as a part of this whole fixture that that the Lord himself is perhaps moving in a direction where people are coming together and gravitating and putting things together under your watch and under your leadership to go to the next level. How do you feel about that, really?
Yeah. When God is ready to make a move, he put the right people and pieces in place. And so something is happening. But there was something that Dr. Miles said that was just as powerful.
Hmm.
He said that the Bahamian people will have a choice to go 50 years forward or 50 years backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's the choice. And it seems like the Bahamas has gone 50 years backwards. And we need to start moving forward. We're tired of the backward trend.
Well, that is certainly the situation here, because when you look at all the things that we see happening in our country today, you cannot be pleased with the way that things are going. I was saying on this show some time ago, and even this week, that it seems as if the Progressive Liberal Party, that they don't want to really win this election. I don't know why I get that feeling. That just keeps coming back at me. It keeps coming in my head every day. I say that because I can't understand how they can be trying to win an election, but they're making all the wrong moves. Could God have them confused that they're making the moves like this 58 million that you've been talking about, this 180 something $1 million on the piece of road in Grand Bahama? What is happening? I mean, it's like they keep doing things to make people go against what they're trying to get done. So I have to come up with my opinion is that they must be ready to want to win. They must be can't even find themselves winning, and they perhaps want to get out of town, get out of Dodge. I mean, the people putting a lot of pressure on them is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, to me, in my mind, I'm thinking that they can't be serious. They can't really want to win, and they're making plans to get out of town.
Every single election, what they do has not changed. They swing it back and forth between themselves, PLP and FNM, so that no one else can get in there. And in the middle of there, they buy out whoever's in the third party, they buy them out and get them on their side. But what you'll
They're not
notice
this
is
time.
that Ingram would be in, and he would start at the end of his term acting so crazy and saying such foolish things that most people will say, "Oh no, we just need Ingram gone. And let's go with Perry. He could be more consultative. Ingram saying he's a one-man band. He ain't listening to no one. He going crazy. And so we just need, third party. So not your, not your time yet. We just need Ingram gone.
Mhm.
And so swing hard to Ingram best friend. And you
Yes.
thinking that you got relief. But he continues the policies. And then Perry would do something so crazy. And you say, man, they so corrupt and they so bad. And he stick up his middle finger. And you say, oh, we just need him gone right now. No one else. We just need him gone right now. Let's go right back to Ingram. Who you needed gone the last time? And they keep doing this back and forth. Minutes would come in and minutes would start acting so crazy and saying it's the craziest things and doing some weird things. You'd be like, what? Where's this man who seemed so intelligent in the beginning? ABC 1, 2, 3. You're going for Stu Fish, and he would start doing the craziest things
I haven't heard that
to
joke in a little while.
force it
Mhm.
to swing the other way.
Mhm.
And now you see Brave and them, the things they're doing, 148 million, and the things they're doing and saying is like they're trying to swing it hard the next way to keep it in their hands. And today, as you saw what happened in the House of Assembly, when that happened to the FNM and it was us, they weren't happy. You see?
Mhm.
Every time someone crossed the floor before, they were happy. But
Yes,
today,
they were not happy.
they were not happy.
That's a serious thing. They must be see some things that we ain't see yet. Hello, good afternoon, caller. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good day, Mr. Steve Mckinney, and good day, Mr. President. Today was a very historic day. I just want to know, moving forward, how the COI plans to represent human people in the House of Assembly.
You want to know how they're going to represent the people in the House of Assembly moving forward? That's the question you put in the Mr. Lincoln Bain, I suppose.
So,
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Well, we are going to be there every week, to every opportunity we get to speak, to, of course, Iram Lewis. And he's going to represent the Bahamian people. As they're passing bills, we're going to investigate all of these bills, put the research into all of these bills, and see where the trick is in these bills. If we were there when they were passing that carbon credit bill, we'd have been able to speak out about it, about the secrecy part of it, where if you speak about the carbon credits or reveal anything about it, you get 5 years jail or a fine of $100,000. We would have been able to speak out about that. All right. If we were there when they were repealing the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act,
Mhm.
that could have possibly benefited the Bahamian people if done right. When they were repealing that, we would have been able to speak out and scream from the mountaintops. But what has been happening is Michael Pintard has been voting for every bill that Brave Davis has put forward. And we should be suspicious of that. Every bill Brave Davis put forward, Michael Pintard
You
vote
voted
for.
for it. He
Now,
won two
because
punch.
I'm saying that
It's
now,
1-2 punch.
he's going to try to find a couple that he goes against, because that's what he does. He responds to what I say. But every bill that Brave Davis put forward, you'll see Michael Pintard saying, oh, we're going to vote for this. Even if they have some complaints about it, but we're going to vote for this. We're paying you to oppose. We're paying you to find what's wrong with this stuff, to find the loopholes, to find a way to make this stuff better. We're paying you for that. And so that's how we're going to represent, by being a strong voice for the Bahamian people. And when there are concerns of the Bahamian people, bringing it forward publicly on the record.
Do you have another question, sir?
I just like to say that's not great opportunity that show the human people what we could do if we House of Assembly.
Okay, it's fair enough. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Okay. Those of you who are waiting out there and want to call and talk on the show, you can do that. 376-9234. I know many of you are out there typing. I see typewriters are going, and Everybody just typing things on Facebook all the time. I know. And I know that's how you participate sometimes. But if you want to, you can call and be a part of our discussion today because this is a historic day, even though the PLP and the Free National Movement will tell you that ain't no big deal. Don't mind them. They're telling not the truth. It's a big deal. When a man crosses the floor, he does it the way he did. So cool and calm and just so debonair and just did what he did. And a lot of thought went into it. That hit them for a blow. Believe that. That hit the PLP for a blow and that hit the FNM for a blow. You know why? Because they see things are unfolding and before their eyes. They've seen it. They cannot tell you that they don't see it. They have an opinion of what's happening right now. If you ask them right now individually, what do you think is actually happening? They'll tell you, I hope this will be a domino effect.
Mhm.
That's what they can tell you. Those who are honest can tell you that. Because politics makes strange bedfellows. All kinds of things happen in politics. And when people are becoming as desperate as many of them have become, for instance, I'll give you an example. It's like cut this whole thing up. The Menace, Dr. Hubert Menace, the former leader of the Free National Movement, he wants to run in the area of West. What's it called?
Killarney.
Kalani. He's a city member of parliament, you know.
Mhm.
He wants to run in Kalani. Now, some people have been trifling and saying things. Well, he might as well join the COI too. But remember, my story is a little different. My story is this. If he wants to run and they don't want him to run, he also was trying to get Quasi Thompson to run with him in the time when he was running against Michael Pintard to become the official leader of the Free National Movement, you know, just a couple of months ago. Now, if Iram is gone, he's no longer in the FNM. He's gone with the COI and made that declared. He declared that today. Does not mean that not Ingram, but that Menace can sneak upon Michael Pintard now and make this thing a race again. Because guess what else happened? I know that you all don't know this, but there's a picture of Hubert Alexander Ingram going into a restaurant with Hubert Alexander Menace just 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Wouldn't know what they were talking about. Hello? What if, in fact, they was discussing the way forward for the Free National Movement? And they used to be big time buddies.
Yes.
I'm only showing you something. May not amount to a hill of being, but I'm showing you something. They met
Mhm.
for lunch. I still got the picture. You understand? Now, if Menace is serious and Pintard don't want to give him no position to run in, and he ain't gonna give him no nomination, well, I will be the first one to say he should go and do what he have to do.
Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is. If you're both in the same party,
Yes.
I only heard, and I'm not defending Menace at all.
Mhm.
Just an observation from an outside. Um, Menace has always said that the party has one leader, and that he supports the leader.
Mhm.
Now, when convention came, he decided at that time to challenge him.
Yes.
Okay, he was stifled, not being allowed to speak and do some. Pintard has been doing some dictatorial stuff that people should be concerned about. But he was stifled, but he still maintained the high road. Again, I'm not defending him.
Mhm.
So when Tommy Turnquest took over the FNM, Ingram still ran.
Yes.
What's the big deal?
Mhm.
I don't see what the issue is. There are many prime ministers who have actually been backbenchers, and even in England, Winston Churchill was one of them. There are many who have been backbenchers. What's the issue with letting this person run? If you are confident in your leadership, then you should be able to do that.
But there's a lack of confidence. That's what's
It
happening.
clearly is.
Clearly is a lack of confidence.
And people compare it to Loretta and those who
Yes.
didn't run,
Mhm.
but that was different. They were literally actually attacking Menace. In this
Very
instance, Minister wasn't attacking Pintard. Pintard was silencing FNMs. They went to court to get an order to gag all FNM so no one could speak bad about another FNM.
Yes,
That
they
was
did it with
actually,
Johnson fella.
that was an injunction, but it didn't go against the Johnson. They actually got an injunction to silence all
Oh, yes,
FNMs.
they did.
That was shocking to me that a party with the history of the FNM would sit down and allow that. That was shocking.
So, please hold. Let me just take this call. Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
Hi, good day. I'm fine.
I'm listening to you. You're live on radio.
Yes, just wanted to say I know Mr. Dean and good afternoon to you for that was the issue with setting Mr. Lewis run. And as a constituency in Central Bahama, you know, I voiced my concern last election that if I was to run again, I would not be voting for him because I just don't think he's a good representation for Central Bahama. He hasn't done anything, in my opinion. For the last time, he has had that, and I'm going, no, you need to go down. You know, I just don't think he's a good representation.
Okay.
All right, so thank you.
Okay. Appreciate your call.
All right.
Yeah. I suppose that that's our opinion. Many people will tell you completely different. They'll tell you that this is the fellow who is going to make quite a difference, and they're thinking that since Michael Pintard was hinting at, didn't make it official, but was hinting at not really wanting to run him either in that constituency, Central, in Grand Bahama, then that's one of the reasons why he would have done what he did today and say, well, that's one of the reasons why he decided that he's going to pull out. I don't know if you can speak to that. I'm just saying that is what is on the table for some people. But I suppose that Iram Lewis has not been a man of, he's been a man of a great character. He's not been anyone who's been involved in controversy and all kinds of scandals, not him. He's a Christian young man who's been doing a fantastic job, and I say that because I know him. And I'm telling you that when people say they don't believe that, they don't believe this, they have to get to know who this man is.
Yeah, my conversations with him have always been about God and country.
Yes, I know.
That's the conversations that I've had with him, not even about the FNM. It's been about God and country. And he's never given me any behind the scenes information about the FNM or what they were talking about, etc. Not him. All right. I have other people in the FNM who would give me that information, and sometimes he'd be shocked as to what I know. But we didn't really discuss the FNM, God and country. Now, this is democracy. Absolutely. And so if you don't feel like he's a good person to represent you, then you don't vote for him. But there were a lot of people that didn't vote for him last time, and there were a lot of people who did. And so you have a choice, and you just make your choice. I can tell you that the COI is coming to benefit all Bahamians. It's not just about a constituency, because you could have a good MP that makes sure your park's clean, all right? And make sure that you get your little gifts for back to school and your Mother's Day little present. And there's some nice stuff to do in the constituency. But your country is falling apart. It's about the country now. It's not just about some things in a constituency. And I'm not justifying anyone who didn't do things in their constituency, because you get paid for both. I'm saying that at this juncture, our country is in trouble. So for you to tell me, oh, my MP used to come and clear down some bushes in my constituency, so that's a good MP, let me vote for them, while their party is going to put things in place to destroy this nation, you ain't serious. Yeah. Don't. I hear people going on the radio talking about, oh, let's see if this MP is good, if that MP is good, if that MP is good. What's the point of having an MP who does some trivial things in your constituency, but you can't keep the electricity on? And he ain't standing up for you on that? You can't keep the water on? Grocery bills going out the roof? And I believe that the government is working with persons to keep expenses high so they can make more money in taxes without giving you more taxes. The country is falling apart. Corruption. You're going to tell me this party is corrupt. Drug dealing happen, all kind of stuff going on. But
Police
because
getting locked
but
up, all kinds of
because
stuff going on
you're
for real.
empty, just make sure they cut some grass in your constituency. That's all you need. Let his party destroy this country, but he just cut the grass. No. We need an entire reset. We need to reset the whole thing.
But Lincoln Man, how are you going to bring these people into the fold as to what we really need and how we ought to be concentrating on what we really need as a country of people to go to the next level? See, that is a task that I see you're going to have, because some of the people in this country who just want to get by, they could care less. But the real McCoy is that they need to make a way for them and their children and their children's children for the future. How are we going to we're going to have to reset. How are we going to really mold this resetting into the people themselves, that they must understand this is what we have to do?
Only
We
one
have to
thing.
do this.
One thing moves people, that is pain. And when the pain of staying is more than the pain of leaving and trying something new, that's when people change. That's history. So the Bain people have to decide if they want more pain. Because every election, that's what we get, more pain. We'll get all kind of promises. They'll put all kind of qualified people in front of you and say, oh, go with them. There's all these people over here, they ain't qualified. Well, if the qualified people failing us, we ain't getting no hospital, we ain't getting nothing working around here. No. I could try it on a qualified person. At least I'm going to get something. Yeah. And that's what's happening. So do you want more taxes? Because that's what's coming. Remember, I said this to you. If you vote for PLP or the FNM, you're going to get income tax after the next election. Everything that Lincoln Bain says comes to pass. Everything. I'm telling you what the plan is already. You're going to get, and on top of all the taxes you have, you're going to now have income tax. They go in for, they ain't just going to tax what you spend, they get tax what you earn. They're going to murder us. Pintado already said it at the convention. He started talking about this new equitable tax. And since I pointed it out, he ain't said no more. But that's what the plan is. This new equitable tax, they're saying that income tax is equitable tax because it taxes the rich and the poor. It taxes the rich at their level. All right? But when you buy a cheap product, the rich may buy an expensive product. So they're still paying more in taxes than you. You go buy Aquapure water, they go buy Fiji water. So they're still going to pay more than you. That's normally what they do on the taxes they pay. So we don't need income tax. We don't need taxes at all. We have natural resources that we can benefit from. We have the carbon credits that we can benefit from. And so we're going to change that. Go ahead.
Hard copy, how are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. McKinney. And hard copy nation Bahamas again. I had to go back. Today I turned 60 on the 1st of March. I mean on the 6th of March. And today was the first time sitting in Parliament. And I sat in Parliament and I looked in the case and the place was filthy. Absolutely filthy, Steve. The carpet and all, the furniture and all squeaky. It's amazing that we have leaders today who would go to that place all dressed up and everything. And our House of Parliament is a filthy, filthy place. But beside that, Steve, the FNM run the country for 51 years. And I talk about how our great-great-grandparents and great-grandparents and grandparents and even parents died without even getting crown land. The only crown land my parents got was their grave. That the government refused to even empower us to the point where we have generational property, that our generational properties across the Bahamas, with all moving counties, our generational properties is worth nothing. That we can't use our generational property to go to the bank to get a loan to do something with it. Isn't that a shame? They never wanted to empower the Bahamian people. Both FNM and PLP. And then it is when you think about the PLP implementing VAT tax. And VAT taxes on everything. And here's Minister he's the saver, he's the man on the white horse. And he comes in and he said, VAT tax off all bread basket items. But he went up 12%. It's the same.
Yeah.
There is no government does any good.
Yeah.
And there's an illustration. If you go to the bathroom to use the toilet, and you take the toilet paper off, and you do what you need to do with it, do you go to the toilet paper and take out the ones that have not been touched? No, they all have a scent on it. Both have to go. It's being used. They've used us. The PRP and the FNM must go. To change. I want to change.
Appreciate your call. Thank you, Carmen.
Okay.
Yeah. All kinds of people are trying to reach me right now. And of course, I heard the calls coming through, but you can call me back, callers who you're trying to get. We'll get you on the air if we can. Yes, Lincoln, Maine, this is an historic day, and a lot of people are just trying to get this. This is now falling upon the people. They're saying, what is this? What happened today? What's going on here now? How do we think?
Steve, change is happening all over the world.
Mhm.
They are putting young leaders all over the world, and they're seeing change all over the world, Steve, in Africa, all in Central America, everywhere. They're putting young leaders, and they're actually seeing change. And the Bahamas has to decide if you're going to continue with the same old system and keep getting what you've been getting. Do you want the change you've been seeing around the world, or you just want to keep seeing what you're seeing? Even in Canada, they just elected a man, McCartney, who was never, they just made prime minister, a man who's never been elected. Do you know that?
Yes, yes.
He was never elected for any position in Canada.
I know.
But because he became the leader of the party, in Canada, the rules is that once you become the leader of the party, you become prime minister.
I know.
And so he's never been elected in Canadian history. And he is now the prime minister without even having any experience of any elected position.
That's a serious thing.
Yeah.
Hi, Copy. How you doing today?
Good day. How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
All right. How you doing, Mr. President?
I'm alive.
All is well. So I have a question, and we have this conversation to work, and I know you want for the educating the people. So I and a few other people want to know, is the process legal that Mr. Lewis did? Because they say FNM put him in and on the COI, and we just want to know, is the process legal?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so when you vote for someone, you're voting for that person. That person may be a part of a party, or they may not be a part of a party. They could be independent, but you're voting for that person. So that is who you're electing. And when that person is elected, they don't represent necessarily for the constituency a party. They must take all party colors off of the constituency office. And so his constituency office right now does not have an FNM on it. Any PLP MP's constituency office cannot have yellow or their party colors, because you represent everyone. So what happens is the people decide to vote, and whoever gets the most vote, they go there to represent everybody, not just the FNM or the PLP or whoever voted them in. They represent all the persons in that constituency, and that is why they must remove all party colors. So it's not about the fact that he won while being an FNM. And when you go in the House of Assembly, you are the member for that constituency, Pinewood or Central Grand Bahama or whatever it is. You're the member for that constituency. They're not even allowed to call your name in there. They're not allowed to call the FNM and PLP. In fact, when we went in there, persons who were with me were wearing COI pins, and they were told, you must take off the COI pin. He can't wear a red necktie in the House of Assembly. He can't wear a yellow red tie in the House of Assembly, or anything with a party paraphernalia or colors. So when you are elected to represent everybody. Now, his politics in the House of Assembly can change, and now he is with the COI, which determines where he is seated. And if there's a leadership issue, that would determine who becomes the leader in the House. All right? But in terms of who voted for him, the people voted. Everyone in the constituency had the opportunity to vote. And at the end of the day, once they choose, now it's not about party, it's about representing everyone. Because I can tell you, all of our members of parliament are going to be representing you, whether you're PLP, FNM, or whatever you are. We are looking out for Bahamians. And we're going to make sure that every Bahamian benefits from what is theirs. Because we're going to be fighting for Bahamians. We don't care if it's PLP. Don't come to me and say, oh, Lincoln is PLP, got a contract. Is he Bahamian? Yeah. That's it.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Oh, yeah, sir. Thank you. And it's always a pleasure being educated by you, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
All the best. All right. So you can call me. 6:48 is the time. You can call me and pose your question. And I suppose that's one of the big debates that they have, wondering if, in fact, is he really legitimate? Is he really going to be a COI? They asking those kind of people ask those kind of questions anyway. But the point is this: the man is who he is, and he now represents the COI in the political force because he's a member now of that particular a sitting member of the House of Assembly, because he represents a constituency that is called Central Grand Bahama.
Yes.
And that's the size of it. Anybody can go crosswalk. I could go back and remember when other people wanted to be a part of this particular party, when Vaughn Miller wanted to be a part of that particular party. Or these are things that you can go back and look at,
It's happened from the very beginning.
That's how it is.
And
So
after 67 and the 68 wins, persons who were voted in as PLPs, Cecil Wallace, Whitfield, etc., they switched. They became somebody else. Why is this a question all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Ingram and Christie switched to be independents, and then Ingram went to be an FNM.
Yes.
After being voted in as an independent, and Perry Christie went back, and even though they voted him in as an independent,
he went back to the PLP.
Yeah, so
is what they said.
Yeah, so this has been happening. It's not a big deal, because you're supposed to represent everybody,
and that's the whole idea.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, what else did you want to tell me today? Because I know, because of what has actually happened now, there are many ideas that you perhaps not have. And talk to me about some politics now. I'm talking about the fact that I know Lincoln Bain is a part of the COI, and he's the leader of the COI, but I know that you may be looking down the road and seeing who else could join into this particular wagon now, this whole COI wagon now. And I want to explore that because, like I said earlier, there are some who believe that Dr. Minnis could do this and do that and next thing and try to take over the FNM party. There's the whole thing about him being in the meeting with Hubert Alexander Ingram the other day at lunch on Paradise Island. And there's this whole thing about Michael Pintar not wanting him to be represented by the Free National Movement in Kalani. All of these things make for a serious combustion, and anything can happen at any time. Tell me, what do you see happening down the road as far as other people from the PLP and from the other political parties that may be maneuvering around the place right now? Can they also be, and will they be also a part and parcel of where the COI is going and intend to go, and bringing them along with that particular party?
As long as an MP with the Bahamian people at heart, there were not any government scandals. I don't care about your personal life. There are not any government scandals in terms of what you were doing in your government, your running of your responsibility in government. We can have conversations. But we encourage all persons now to step forward and change this country. All members of parliament, come forward. Persons from other political parties, other third parties, well, it's only one third party, other parties, come forward. Come forward and let's do this together.
Do you have people who want to really come forward at this time, or are they just hanging back for right now because of the two dinosaurs that are inside the office?
A lot of people have already come forward. We get calls every day from stalwart PLPs and FNMs who have now joined us. There's a serious movement happening on the ground that they don't see. There's people being quiet because they don't want to be exposed yet for whatever reason. But staunch, people who are big in these parties are now coming on board with us. That's something that we are seeing on a daily basis, because there are some people. There are people who have government contracts right now, and they're saying that they are fed up in what the government is doing. All right, they're fed up. in what is happening with the government, and they feel we need change.
But the government apparently can pay a lot of people who they have put on contracts, and these people are not going to be paid.
When you spend in millions on contracts and millions on traveling, you're not going to be able to pay them if you're not using your natural resources and benefiting this country in a bigger way. If you're existing off of loans,
Yeah.
if you have to borrow for everything you do, you're existing off of loans. Come on, man, that doesn't work. And so we think that more persons are going to consider. I'm not going to say anything about it. Just stay tuned. But it's time for change, man. And we're calling on all of this generation, come forward. There are persons in the House of Assembly right now, I'm not talking about Iram, who did not want Pintard to be the leader of their party, but they voted for him because they didn't want to be an outcast, and they felt they were doing it for party and not for themselves and what they felt was right. So they're gonna have to look in their conscience, in their good conscience, and say, if you feel that Pintard isn't good for the country because of what you've been experiencing, then you need to make a decision. Be bold, be a man, take a stand.
How are things going in the family violence? I mean, there are people around the family violence who've been talking big time about the COI, and I had on the lips of just about everybody who's coming in talking about what the COI can bring to the table. Are you getting the kind of notoriety in the family islands at this particular time?
We have a lot of support in the family islands, and
like
everyone, everyone
Island.
on the family island who hear our policy of island states and city government, they love it because the family islands have been neglected. All of them are dysfunctional. All of them are neglected. And so we are going to go in there and make sure that they have power over themselves. The biggest thing about the COI is not our vision. That's our vision for the central government. The biggest thing is that you are going to have your own budget and you do what you feel is necessary in your constituency.
And that's turned on a lot of people.
A lot of people left,
especially places like the
finally,
where they can't even get the water system.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And so we're
Fire
gonna
engines and all that in the family violence. I mean, that's a real serious thing.
How sweet is this?
Yeah.
Your island is making over 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. You can buy your ambulances. I'm sure the people living there will buy the ambulances. Why? Because they're gonna need it. They will buy their fire trucks because they're gonna need it. They will make sure their roads are paved and maintained. Because the biggest problem with this government is maintenance. They will make sure that happens. Why? Because they gotta drive on the roads. It's destroying their cars. And so we believe in taking the power from the politician and giving it to the people. That's our biggest thing right now. Putting the payments first, taking the power from the politicians and giving it to the people, and then letting the people benefit from our natural resources, including our land.
Yes. I've not heard any scandal or anything like that emanating from the COI. It seems that you all are really all together. I mean, because, we hear people say that all the time. That other fella, Mitchell, is always talking about all together, that kind of stuff. But I'm saying the COI have people in that organization who are playing their role and doing their work.
We are a well-oiled, united team, ready to take this country back. The factions in the PLP and FNM is about power and control, about who getting contracts and who ain't getting it. We are a well-oiled, united machine, and you can see it as you look at the things that we are doing and accomplishing.
Mm-hmm.
And we are ready to take this country and unite all Bahamians. We're going to unite all Bahamians, PLPs, FNMs, Black, White, Chinese Bahamians, whatever you are. We're going to unite you and make you be proud to be a Bahamian for the first time. We're gonna empower Bahamians to do projects that make us proud. We're going to fund your entrepreneurs, your young people. We're going to fund musicians and make sure that they have something that that they can become real musicians and do this thing 24/7, and that's their focus, so that they can make great music. We are going to transform this nation by putting the power in the hands of the people. We are not politicians. We want to take power from them. Take the cookie jar and throw it out the window, not the mace. We're going to take the cookie jar and throw it out the window downstairs to the people. That's the mission that we are on, Steve.
Well, good job so far. I think people are very impressed with what you all have been doing. And even the media is very impressed. Somebody asked me about media earlier today, and I told them about all the cameras that are out there. Well, I believe that Mr. Bain is going to be talking on media, local stations tonight, that kind of thing. And so there's a whole lot that you will get to know from the others who are now gravitating to Mr. Lincoln Bain and understanding now that this man may in fact be somebody special in this country. And I have to say this, I have to tell it, Steve. We started out with Mr. Lincoln Bain a long time ago, when nobody would pick up Mr. Lincoln Bain and take him serious and listen to what he had to say. We were on board from that time. I'm showing you something. These people today who are now on board, they are coming because they have to come. They see the vision. They see what's happening. And when you get that kind of pull where you see the media is now paying attention to him and trying to do more and trying to understand the magnitude of this man, the meaning of this man, you get to understand. See, we go back in our minds about that. We see it a long time. We told Leslie Miller that long time ago. I had plenty row with Leslie Miller saying that, who do you think he is? You remember those row. I'm just showing you something. I want to say this just so that people can know. When we talk this thing called politics, we see certain things, because we are led by God. This show is led by God's Spirit, And when we see certain things, we go to it, we investigate, we look at it, we see it for what it's really worth, and we pass it on to you, the Bahamian people. You can accept it or reject it. But the truth is, we said some things here on this show for many years now, saying it first, and nobody else was saying it. You know why? They couldn't see it. So when you hear me say things like, I believe that Lincoln Bain and those are the party of choice right now in this Bahamas, believe you me, they're the party of choice. You may not like that, but the facts are the facts. They're the party of choice. And people are looking to them to deliver this nation again. I say that to you, Susan, as he makes way to go to other shows in the city.
And I want to say this, Steve, there are some people, political trolls mostly, that say, oh, y'all can't win the election, et cetera, et cetera. And I want them to know, first and foremost, we're not doing this because we believe we can win.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're doing this because we believe that this is right.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
If we win, we win. If we don't win, we don't win. But this is not about winning or losing, because the only people that can win or lose is the Bahamian people. And we've been losing. We are doing this because we believe that this is right. At this time, it's time for Bahamians to benefit in this country. It's time to put Bahamians over foreigners. There will be no equality. Bahamians will be put first. So if you're looking for equality, not in this Bahamas. Because when I go to the airport and I'm going to check with customs, they have a special line for their citizens and the long line for us, right? There's no equality there. When you go to college, there's a price for you and a price for the residents. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so we need one country that we could go to where we put first.
Yeah, we're in charge.
I could understand being second class in America. So should be. I applaud them for that. I used to understand being second class in Canada. I don't understand being last class in the Bahamas. And I worse don't understand. I shouldn't have said that like that, but worse
Yeah.
don't understand.
That's Bahamian language.
Yeah, I worse don't understand Bahamians accepting being last class. Bahamians voting, putting an X to being last. Because if you put Pintard and Brenson and them back in there, you are voting to be last. Pintard, them talking about the $183 million. Well, how much contracts Brenson had got? $60 million the first year. And by the next year, because he wasn't getting more, he packed up his marbles and gone. 10 minutes I quit because you ain't giving me enough contracts. We must go back to that.
So you want to control the whole hog now.
We must go back to the whole of West Coast getting millions and millions of dollars to distribute $11 checks to Bahamians like servants and slaves. Pintard, you think we forget the indignity of standing on those long lines for an $11 check? That's what we must go back to? I will fight until my last breath to empower every Bahamian in this country, every single one, even the ones that curse me.
And I think the Bahamians appreciate that. They see in you a fighter, a man who means what he says, does what he says, and they can count on you. That's what people have been telling me. That's what I know, that they can count on you. And that's a good thing. If they could have counted on any politician, you would not have been in the high echelon where you are right now. If they could have depended on it, they can. They know that you're the man who they can depend on. That's what's happening, and that's the trick that is actually happening in the political fold right now. They know that this man named Lincoln Bean, they could call him morning, noon, or night. I saw that situation with the fire, when you say the people with the hose, that they had a big thing on you with the saving the people home. The woman was, I read that. I cried when I read it, because she was like, he actually came and he did this for me. And she was overwhelmed by the whole matter because people couldn't understand what she was talking about. She felt that so deeply, and she was a big-time free national movement person. She said, no way she could vote for that. She meant that, but all I could feel her. And reading that article, I felt that she was like, my goodness, I can't believe this fella actually did this. So those kind of things touch people. And when people see that kind of thing, they know that they can depend upon it.
A lot of what we do don't make the news, or is not publicized. Very little of what we do is publicized. People think that everything we do, we put on social media. That's not true. Not even 1% of what we do. I had an experience with a woman last week, and I had to fight for her because some powerful people were trying to take her business, and she's hard PLP, right? And she didn't really care for me. She didn't know me. She just saw that, the media would only show us when we're being rowdy or having to fight for something. So they thought it's just from some rowdy, man. And I had to come there and I had to stand up for her because they were there trying to throw her out illegally and unlawfully so that they could take over her business. And I stood up for her and I stood with her. I told them that they have to be fair and they have to go by the book, et cetera, and I chased them away from her. And the person who was doing it, because I got involved, he said, well, he ain't challenging Lincoln. That's it. And he stood down. And that woman cried. She bawled. And she said, boy, people was telling me all kind of things, but I was misjudging you. And look how you had to come right here and fight for me. I was calling you rowdy, but you came here and you spoke so professionally and eloquently to that man and just told him what the law was, and you chased him away. Look how I needed you to be rowdy for me. And I was complaining about you being rowdy before. She said, you have my support. I am voting for your candidate in this constituency. People never understand you until you have to do it for them. And you're always going to be misunderstood. I'm not doing this for clout. People say, oh, they went there and staged something with the fire, et cetera, et cetera. But if they watch the live, they'll see that wasn't me. we were having a business meeting.
Fred Mitchell said that you were just getting some cheap publicity, man. That's what he said.
Yeah, well,
You were
listen.
getting some cheap publicity.
Listen,
My
we
goodness.
were at a business meeting and we got a text saying that there was a fire. And because I was in Daniel Mitchell's constituency, we said, okay, let's go. And I when we got there, we saw what was going on. We went live. We didn't plan to do anything or be a part of anything. We just went live to show the police and show the fire. And as we drove through that corner, which we had to turn around and go back to it, we saw people trying to out a fire. I couldn't just drive past them. And so I came out of the car, yes, in my suit, because they were there trying to save a house. And so we came out there and we ended up trying to save that house. We were already live. That's not anything that we were staging. But that's what we do. That's what we do on a daily basis. I've been fighting for people for the last 20 years, even when I was refusing to run and wasn't even interested in running. This is what my life has been. I've given back. God has been good to me and blessed me. And so I give back by fighting for others who can't fight for themselves.
Very good. Touching. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Wait a second. I can't hear you. Go again. What you saying?
I say I'm giving the Almighty thanks.
McLean. Yes, that's you.
McLean, to
Yes.
be alive
Mhm.
and to listen to a true leader. The young man has been blessed by God with a true conscience, heart for people, and determination to see things go right. And I can assure you that if he abides under the shadow of the Almighty, he will win this next election. No question. He will win the next election because people are looking for truth. Truthful, honest people. And we have a drought when it comes to that in these days and times. So I am praying for my son, I call him, Brother Bain.
Thank you.
I always let him know the old man is talking when I can connect with him. And I am praying that the Lord keep him on the right track. Overshadow him and the party and all who are connected with the COI to consistently be honest and true, and he will prevail. Because we are living in a time when everyone is looking for truth and uprightness in leaders, and we have a lack at this time. So I will continue praying for him, and I know the nation is praying for him. God bless you all, Brother Steve.
Thank you, Candy. Appreciate that call. Yep, that's how people are feeling, and that's the way it is. That's our show for the day, right here on the radio. And I'm saying to you, my friends, that it's been good. Lincoln Bain and those are now in the parliament, whether you believe it or not. It hasn't dawned upon you yet. I know for some of you, it's like, this can't be real. I must be dreaming, but it has happened. And Iram Lewis is the man who that happened. It happened to him, and that spread right into the COI. And people around this country today are very, very happy for the COI party. They are. Whether the PLP is like it or the FNM's like it, the people are very happy for the COI party. And they want to thank this man called Iram Lewis, who is a terrific athlete. Okay. And he has decided now that's where his lot is going to be stacked. And there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose. Lincoln, your final words?
If you are a COI supporter in Grand Bahama, and I know it's early, but 7:30 tomorrow, Iram Lewis is going to be coming to the Western Airport, and we want you to welcome him. Show him that you love him. Be there 7:30 in the morning at the Western Airport, and give him a good welcome.
Good afternoon. The show's over, you know, friend.
Oh, the show's over.
Yes, sir. You wanted to say something. Quickly say it. Quickly say it.
Listen to me. My question
was for Mr. Lincoln being, because I appreciate everything what he's doing today.
He can hear you. He can hear you. Talk. Finish talking.
Oh, well, I just want to say, Mr. Bain, I have listened to every last one of your calls and every last one of your lives. I appreciate that what you're doing for the community and the whole Bahamas, because me as a young Bahamian, lived for a way to progress and just make a better future for younger Bahamians, including myself and my daughter. Because it's very hard to find myself with a situation well and even
You're out of minutes. Sorry, you're out of the minutes. That's life.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I'll continue to fight for you.
Okay. Well, listen, we can see you when we do. Thank you for being here today and making sure that hard copy is on top of the edge as we normally be on these kinds of issues. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All the best. All right. Now, we're going to play some commercials and we'll be out of here. Goodbye for now from Hard Copy Live.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be at 8 p.m. on ZNS with Cliff Watson. So be sure to tune in on ZNS for that. I won't be live.